No, and I'm doing that. They are. Good morning. Okay. It's a beautiful day. Would you please use this time for our prelude to, to be centered for our service this morning? And please remember to quiet your cell phone. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Um, Today, to coming to our sanctuary, and welcome everyone who's joining us online. And we thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. Today's message will be shared by Reverend Jeanette Langmeier, and the Daily Word reader will be Andy Fisher, and Andy Fisher will also come now to introduce and our speaker today. Thank you.
I am just delighted to be here this morning and welcome my friend Janet Langmeier, who I know from the Unity on the Avenue, my home church back in Denver. Janet and I met there. We worked together on some of the programming that she did on Wednesday evenings. I was sort of in the capacity there that she would invite me just to provide AV support if needed, and usually it wasn't, so I could just say yes to joining her for the programming. But I'm actually delighted to have her here. She's on her own little renewal retreat this weekend, as it turns out, by taking herself away from her place there in Colorado. But I'm delighted. She is a joy spreader. That is her message. She is a life coach and transformer, and that's what I was going to say is I started working with her after I came here to Virginia. So this is my start of my transformation, but I'm glad to have kept that thread going with her, and I know you will enjoy her message of joy this afternoon or this morning.
And now we will share our prayer as the candle of the Christ candle has been lit, and if we would all share the prayer. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives, God the good, omnipotent.
Okay, thank you, everybody. It's time to sing, shall we? Let's stand together and open our service with joy and with spirit by singing together, Spirit is Joy. Spirit is joy, oh holy joy. Spirit is joy, oh holy joy. Spirit is joy, oh holy joy. Let your light shine through. It's you and God. Light within and shine like the sun. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Let your light shine through. Let your thoughts reflect the truth that you and God are one. Shine the light within and shine. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Spirit is joy, holy joy. Let your light shine through. Beautiful job, beautiful job. And now, the greatest thing. Big breath. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. I want to know. I want to know. Greatest thing in all my life is knowing you, serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. I want to know. I want to serve you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving
join me in affirming our vision statement. Centered in God, we embrace a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. In our mission statement, to inspire positive change in our spiritual lives and in the world. And now we also would like to, in our minister search affirmation, we will share this prayer. Using our spiritual powers, we interweave the diversity among us into the one united vision for unity of Roanoke Valley. We know the right minister for our vision is being divinely led to join us. With love, we are open to give and to receive what is needed and what is to come. Okay, now we have our special guest, Barbara Martin.
Great, thank you, thank you. I'd like to introduce Barbara Martin. For those of you who may be new, I thought I'd give you a short introduction to our wonderful special guest here. This is a great description. Chanteuse, girl next door, and perceptive poet, all rolled into one. The Washington Post called Barbara Martin's music as American in style as it is universal in emotional intelligence. Her music solidly reflects the greats of traditional jazz, never forgets the blues, but relates to the world today. Based in the peaceful Shenandoah Valley, her skillful song crafting and solid guitar chops set her apart. Her performances seamlessly cross genres, reflecting her unique blend of styles. Please welcome Barbara Martin.
Thank you. I know the theme today is joy, so I'm going to do a song that I wrote. I had a publisher in Nashville, and she contacted me and said, "We need happy, cheerful songs for commercials." And I kind of thought, great. But it was good because it got me to thinking about, what does make me happy? And I realized that really what makes me happy most of the time is just the little moments in life, those little moments of being completely present. And so I wrote this song, and it hasn't been placed in a commercial yet, but that's okay. Cheeks soft against cotton pillow, cat purr sun peeks through the window. Breathe out, breathe in, every little thing. Fresh roasted, just one cup more. Strawberry splash as the cream pours. Your smile, warming up the kitchen. Every little thing. But the big things seem so important. Do something, be something, figure out how. But when the day's done and I count up my fortune, what's worth more are these moments in the now. Hands held together, softly cradled. Newspaper forgotten on the table. Sip slowly, savor every little thing. But the big things seem so important. Do something, be something, figure out how. for when the day's done and I count up my fortune. What's worth more are these moments in the now. Hands held together, softly cradled. Newspaper forgotten on the table. Sip slowly. Savor every little thing. Every little thing. Every little thing. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Andy again, and this morning just keeps adding up. I've been waiting for an opportunity to share the daily word. It is a special connection to me, and so ask me afterwards, and I can tell you some of the stories that I had the connection to the daily word. But thank you, Barbara. That was gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. The daily word for Sunday, August 20th is understanding. With understanding, my spirit is always cool. One of the best ways to remain calm and in any agitating circumstance is to practice understanding. Seeking to understand gives me the information and insight and eases my mind's reactivity. It keeps my emotional thermostat dialed down if I am tempted to lose my cool. Perhaps poet Rudyard Kipling was referring to the understanding in his poem If, when he wrote the importance of keeping your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Properly mastered, my power of understanding gives me the strength and presence of mind to be a beacon in times of trouble or crisis. Whatever the day may bring, I will carry the light of understanding with me. I am cool in spirit. I am understanding. And our Bible verse today comes from Proverbs 17:27. One who is cool in spirit has understanding.
Thank you. Understanding. Okay, today, now it's time for the healing prayer time. And at this time, I invite the prayer chaplains serving today are Chris Cameron and Margie Ratcliffe to come forward for the healing prayer.
Before we start the prayer this morning, I just wanted to say that Mary Ellen McLaughlin, who is the daughter of Mary Moore, a longtime Unity member here, Mary Ellen made her transition on Thursday. And so we are holding her spirit and we're holding Mary in a place of comfort and peace. Now let's take a moment just to be still, to go within and to feel that presence of love, that presence of healing, that presence of peace. And as we especially center our thoughts on those whose names have been placed in the prayer box, those who have called in on the prayer line, we hold those people as well as those we are holding in our own hearts and minds who may be facing challenges of any kind. We hold all in a space of love, of peace, of healing, affirming that wholeness that is ours at our deepest place. And we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Chris. And as we prepare for meditation, we'd like to thank our prayer chaplains today for their service. Let's take a deep breath. We're sitting right where we are. join together in singing Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace is a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In the midst of his children, the Lord said that it would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just two or three. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. There's a holy hush around us. I've seen glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. And before we go into experiencing the joy of silence, let's take together a few cleansing breaths and then settle into our breathing as you sit in stillness and love of everyone in this silence, everyone in this space. And for a moment, we're just going to be still. I invite you to sense your heart opening to the miracle that is your life. Recognize all the wonderful ways in which your life celebrates joy and all the amazing ways in which you connect to the world. Feel your heart open to the miracle that is your breath. Conjure up a heartfelt gratitude as you delve into the present moment awareness. Just breathe. Recognize how precious, how extraordinary is your breath, is your life. Feel your body softening and opening to this awareness of joy. Feel all tension release from your forehead and your shoulders, your belly and your thighs. And then intentionally, ever so slightly, turn up the corners of your mouth. Notice how the body reacts to your subtle smile. Turn that sensation inward now. Feel the joy filling your heart as your smile widens. Let your eyes, even though they're closed, join in with that smile. Can you feel the tension leaving your forehead and your scalp? Hold the thought of a rose gold ball of light in your hand. And bring that rose gold ball of light right up to your heart. And let it light up your heart. And breathe it into your entire being, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body. Let that beautiful light permeate every layer of your being, filling you with joy. Now let that joy flow to the people next to you and to everyone in our space and our place this morning. Let that joy flow from this beautiful city and from you out to the city and out to your state. Let that joy flow out to our country and out to the world we live in. Let your joy flow from our universe and the beyond. Feel your joy taking over the universe. Feel the expansion of love and joy that you are freely giving, and breathe in that place of oneness. Rest in the joy that fills your heart. Slowly, very slowly, bring your awareness back to planet Earth. Come back to our world, to our country, to our beautiful state here of Virginia, to your beautiful city. Come back into this space. We are here together this morning with our hearts full, with gratitude bubbling from the depths of our being, with love surrounding us, and celebrating joy. Take another breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes and acknowledge the person next to you with a smile or a hug.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
Wow, what a beautiful place. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Thank you for letting me be here with you today. When Andy brought me into the sanctuary this morning, I thought, wow, what a great place to talk about joy. It was built with that energy and all the beautiful crepe myrtle I've been seeing as we've been driving around the city the last couple of days, and just overwhelmed with the beauty of this place and this greater place. So thank you. Many years ago, Dr. Wayne Dyer was speaking at a conference at Unity Village, and he told this story at that conference about his friend Portia Nelson. Some of you may be familiar with the story. Portia was taking a class, and in that class, she was asked to write the story of her life in 5 chapters. So if you're familiar with it, bear with me. If you're not, it'll be fun. So this is what Portia Nelson wrote. Chapter 1 of my life. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find my way out. Chapter 2 of my life. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. It isn't my fault. And it still takes a really long time to get out. Chapter 3 of my life. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my own fault. And I get out immediately. Chapter 4 of my life. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5 of my life. I walk down another street. Now, we chuckle because we recognize ourselves in this story, don't we? Right? I walk down the same street. 4 chapters are devoted to walking down the same street. Now, chapter 4, she's got a new thought, and she makes a decision to walk around the hole. But in chapter 5, she makes a bigger decision. She decides to walk down another street. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like to think I spend most of my life in chapter 3, 4, and 5, right? Like I see it, my eyes are open, I walk around it, and maybe I'm even walking down another street. Here's the thing. Walking down another street requires a decision, and not just one decision, but a lot of little decisions, thousands of them, that happen every day, right? So to make a decision to walk down another street, we have to ask ourselves some questions. My mentor and teacher is Mary Morrissey. Maybe some of you are familiar with her. Well, Mary teaches that the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. So we could ask the question, why do I always fall in the hole? And where does that keep our energy? And our focus becomes the pain, right, of what's wrong, what doesn't work, right? Or we could ask a different question. We could say, well, what would help me find a new way? Which focuses us on possibilities, takes our mind in a different direction. Each question produces a very different result in our life. And each one of those gives us either a greater or lesser opportunity to experience joy. Learning to ask ourselves higher quality questions is an ongoing joy practice. I've got 5 powerful questions I want to share with you this morning. I call them our joy meter. And you can use them to really increase joy in your life. And the first question is, does this give me more life? How often do we ask ourselves a question like that? We just go about, I have to do it. I must do it. I can't get out of it. Well, listen to the way we talk to ourselves, right? Notice what you're noticing. So when we look at what's coming up for ourselves and we ask, does this give me more life? That question expands us, right? We feel bigger. We feel more possibility. If it doesn't expand us, if it contracts us, if we get smaller, we're not making joy welcome. We're not even making happiness welcome. We're not even allowing ourselves to see what other possibility might be there. So question number 1 is the most important, because if you can't say yes to that one, the other 4 don't matter. But if you can say yes to that one, if it is giving you more joy, more life, and expanding you, then go to the second question and ask yourself, well, does this align with my core values? This one comes up a lot in my coaching with people because so many people go, I don't understand what you mean by my core values. Because often we align ourselves with other people's, or our church, or our organization, or our friends, or our parents. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the question. We can ask those questions. They're different answers. We want to know what is right for me. in my heart, in my soul, in my alignment with the divine, the way that I live my life. Because many times we can say, yes, this aligns with the values of my friend or my family or my organization, but sometimes it doesn't align with just you. Have you ever taken a job, you're working, it's the right job, you make money, everybody's happy, you come home, but every day you went in, a little piece of your soul was there. Well, it was a good job. You were being paid. You're getting what you asked for out of it, but some part of you isn't aligned. Nobody around you feels that except you. Are you with me? Do you follow me? So when I ask you to ask that question, does it align with my core values? It's a really powerful way to tune into your own alignment with the divine. The third question is, does it make me grow? Because I teach visioning and looking at living the life that we would love, living an extraordinary life, a lot of times people will say to me, well, I've got this goal that I want to achieve. And that's great, because if you have a goal, you probably know how to go about getting it to happen. So go and do it, because it's a goal and you know how to do it. But a vision, a dream, possibility lives in a place where you don't know how, but you'd love to. But you don't know how, but you'd love to, right? And you go, well, I do that, but I don't really know how. Because you're going to have to grow in order to do it. And you're going to have to ask the fourth question is, does it require help from a higher power? Because if it's more than a goal and you don't know how, where do you go? You go to the divine. The answer is always there, and it requires help to get out of yourself, to get out of your known, to get into the unknown, and the how shows up. I was having dinner with my youngest brother about a year or so ago. He's never heard me speak. He's never been to any of my classes. He doesn't know anything about what I do for a living. And we were having dinner, and we were talking about his youngest daughter who was with us that evening. And she was talking about getting out of college and what was she going to do. And my brother said, I could hardly stand it because I felt like he had been a fly on the wall. He looked at her and he goes, well, you get the what really clear, and the how will show up. And my mouth dropped, and I said, have you been in my classes? Because, that's exactly the words I use when I speak. And he goes, really? He goes, well, Janet, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that when the how shows up, successful people take action. Because the how doesn't always show up in a way we recognize. It shows up and you go, well, that isn't the way I was thinking about doing this, right? That's when you have to trust. Go back to, does this make me grow? Does it align with my core values? Do I feel like it gives me more life? Maybe there's a message here. And the fifth question is there good in it for others? And so often I hear this one. And this one comes up the most when the person is saying that the reason they want to do this work is they want a new relationship. They want love in their life, and they want to have a relationship. And I've had so many people say to me, but that's so selfish. How can I meet the fifth question? And I always say, have you ever walked down the street and seen two people having a good time and laughing and talking together? Do you feel good when you see that? Does it make you smile? Well, yeah. Have you ever seen an older couple having lunch together, talking? They know each other's minds. They can answer each other's questions. Does that make you smile? Yeah. You ever seen a young couple playing with groups of kids? Does it make you smile? Yeah, because relationships make us smile. And why wouldn't we want to show more good? Why wouldn't we want to example love and joy in action? So of course it's not selfish to give yourself what is coming into your heart, what is calling to you. What is calling to you is what you're meant here to do. And we're all meant to do something. And it's ours and ours alone. So those 5 questions were important. Neuroscience tells us that we have about 70,000 thoughts a day. And 90% of those thoughts we carry over into tomorrow. And then 90% of them go to the next tomorrow. You can see where I'm going here, right? We talk in Unity so much about our thoughts, right? We talk about thoughts or things, and we have these conversations about thoughts. But if you really get serious and think about the fact that you've got all these thoughts, and most of them you're carrying around with you, how important does it then become to learn to change our thinking? It's a big deal. One little thought changes that percentage. What can it do, right? It's kind of that whole butterfly theory thing. So living truth, applying truth, requires a lot of decision making, doesn't it? Right? It asks us to notice. And if we want to maximize our capacity for joy, it really rides on our ability to notice what we're noticing in our life and deciding for joy. How many of you here have dogs? A lot of dog people in the room. Okay. Well, my dog Daisy died last summer. We were together for 12 years. We had a very good life together. Last October, I brought a new puppy into my life. I know, what was I thinking? I have another little Brussels Griffon puppy, and her name is Phoebe Joy. That's her name. Phoebe means bright and shining, so her name means bright, shining joy. Now, I don't know if you've ever trained a puppy. I forgot how much work it is to train a puppy. After 12 years, you just don't realize it, right? So I have to tell you that with all respect to Emily Cady, my Phoebe Joy is a daily lessons in truth. Absolutely. I mean, it's like I could just get that book out and go, no, you have to train a dog. Because she doesn't give me a moment's peace. It's kind of like an untrained mind, right? My untrained mind is like my untrained puppy. And I notice how she's teaching me to be in the present and to look at joy. And sometimes it drains me of a few of my joyful experiences. So I started watching her. She's quite an interesting little individual. But I looked at it and I thought, worrying, which many of us do. I don't know if you've ever been a worrier. I used to be a Gold Star worrier. I really thought worrying meant I loved you. I thought if I worry about you, Christine, then I love you. Of course, you didn't know I was worrying, so how would you know that I loved you? I kept it all here, right? So worrying is like a puppy with a single-minded pursuit of chewing my feet, right? Or chewing my fingers, or just getting into something. And I could say, stop. That doesn't do anything. Doubt is sort of like a puppy, an exuberant puppy with a sock, and she's down the hall and running with the sock, right? And I could say, drop it, and she's, still running, right? Fear is kind of like an excited puppy at the door when the doorbell rings, and you can say, sit, wait, this is not happening. Not if the puppy's not trained. It's like our mind, right? We worry, doubt, fear. It shows up, it takes over. It's like this puppy that's untrained. It's our mind, and we give it energy, and we make it real. And we go, oh, and what I've learned is my body language, my demeanor, my silence actually speaks louder to her than my words, because she doesn't really understand words yet. She does understand motion, movement. Guess what? When I change my mind, I don't know if any of you felt it when we were doing the meditation, when I asked you to turn up your curves of your mouth, did it change? Without any words, just shifted a little bit, it changed. So our body and our body language and the way we carry ourselves does have an impact on how we're thinking and how we're acting. So it makes a difference. And it can make a difference in a moment. I have clients who tell me, I can't change my mind that quickly, Janet. You don't understand. I have been thinking this way for years. And I get what you're saying. But I really need more time to work on this. So bear with me, if you will. You're in a moment of complete frustration. I mean, like the next word out of your mouth is not going to be pretty. You can feel it. Like you've got all of this happening, right? And the phone rings and you go, hello. Never happened to me, of course, We can change in an instant when we decide to. We just don't always recognize our power when we're being taken over by these other things that we've been practicing for a long time, right? So I'm approaching puppy training with Phoebe the way I'm approaching training my mind, right? I'm studying. We all study, right? We study, we read. I'm watching a lot of Cesar Millan. The Dog Whisperer, yeah, watching a lot of that. But, it's like learning how to think the way she needs to be talked to. Oh, my mind wants to be talked to in a certain way. I've been training it for a lot of years of my life, right? And so it's used to things, and it'll go into that default position. So I don't know how many of you pivot. Some of you pivoters? I'm a pivoter. Yeah, Andy is, because Andy's worked with me. So pivoting means that moment of frustration that we had just a moment ago, right? And you want to get rid of it, the phone didn't ring, you're just there by yourself, and you really don't want to feel that way anymore. You pivot. You literally, if you're physically in a place where you can do it, you physically turn yourself completely around and change your state. And how you do it as you turn is you think of one tiny thing to be grateful for, just one tiny thing. Gratitude takes up a space in your mind. And it's really hard to hold frustration when you're thinking gratitude. So find a pivot thought. If you're in a place where turning around physically isn't possible, let your mind spin. I have a client who created a visual of herself in a ball gown, you know, like the Gone with the Wind kind of gown. Said when she gets really upset about something, she starts spinning and she can feel the petticoats of the gown going with her. And she knows that she's going to pivot and she's going to come out on the other side. And she said when it's a really tough day, there's like firecrackers coming out around the bottom of the petticoats. Give yourself a visual. Pivoting is powerful. I use a leash with Phoebe, you know. So you can give yourself a leash if you need that. But you stop. What it is, it's a stop wherever you are. Breathe. Give yourself a new thought, right? Cesar Millan says, count how many times your dog goes with you into the room. I realize we are at 100%. Whatever room I'm in, she's in. And he said, work on half, cut it in half. And I thought about, if I'm training my mind the way I'm training my dog, how many of those thought, worry, doubt thoughts come with me to the next room, the next day, the next week? So what if I can cut them in half? Right now I'm working on, if I can do the 1%, you know, you do 1% and then the next day, 2%. Pretty soon you don't know. I've noticed now that Phoebe doesn't follow me when I go into the kitchen. There's food there. How come she doesn't? Because now she's found a safe spot right outside the kitchen. And she only comes in if I throw her some food. What if your untrained mind only goes to doubt, fear, and worry when you give it some food? What are you feeding yourself? So we want to focus on this. One of the thoughts I use, maybe you're familiar with from Course in Miracles, I can see peace instead of this. I use that one a lot. That has saved me from saying things that probably didn't need to be said, but only in my brain. If I can say, I can see peace instead of this, I can have a moment to pivot, give myself a new thought. And so often I will get a thought that never occurred to me because I made something else welcome, right? But gratitude is the greatest thought because not only does it change your state, it welcomes joy. It gives you space for it, right? These little daily decisions add up to more joy, not only in the moment, but in the day. And we can maximize our capacity for joy with that decision to say, I'm making joy welcome. How do we make things welcome? Think of yourself at your front door. If somebody's knocking on the door and you don't open it, you're not making anybody welcome. What if it's a friend? All you have to do to let them in is open the door. It's the same for our ability to welcome joy. You know, in many shamanic societies, if you come to the medicine person and you're depressed or despondent or down in the dumps, they're going to ask you one of 4 questions. When did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the sweet territory of silence? Each of these simple yet powerful expressions opens a portal to joy. It expands our capacity for joy. It unites us with others in joy, right? And we have the ability to freely access and experience freedom when we dance, elation when we sing, fascination with stories, contentment in silence. These are powerful things and daily and cost nothing. Absolutely free. So we've already practiced a few joyful experiences here today together, right? We've sang, and that lifts us up, right? We've gone into silence together, right? I'm going to ask you something. When we close the service today, we're going to do the peace song, correct? Okay. So here's what I'm going to ask you. Put your hand on your heart. Are you all in? Tell me I'm all in. All right. So when we do the peace song today and we get together and hold hands and sing, now I think it's nearly impossible to sing that song without swaying. right? I mean, you can really try, but it's hard. But what I'm going to ask you to do today is not only to sway, but to consciously let your body feel that song, right? Like really feel yourself dancing. Dancing doesn't mean that you have to be, you know, on the ballet or a jazz dancer. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be any good at it. We're good at it naturally. I can see my grandchildren when they were really, really little and couldn't walk yet, but they could sit and they'd listen to music and you'd see their little bottoms, right? Because we naturally want to move. So that is my request. You all said you're in. So Janice has your numbers and she knows how to find you. so, so that leaves us with storytelling, right? And I'd like to share with you a story of a man who lived much of his life in chapter 5. And as witnessed by his daughter at his funeral, he was very good at choosing joy. I'm going to share with you the brief eulogy that she shared. And here's the eulogy. Thank you, Dad, for carrying us up to bed on your shoulders when we were small. Thank you, Dad, for rigging every bingo game at all of our birthday parties so that every kid could go home a winner. We have a dog. Thank you, Dad, for loving our mother. Thank you, Dad, for bringing magic into the lives of our children and so many other children. Thank you, Dad, for making the ordinary extraordinary. That man was my father, Ben Langmeier, and I was the daughter. Dad understood the power of those 5 questions, especially question 1. Will this give me more life? He knew how to, in the darkest times, find a way to be cheerful and joyful. He knew how to not only pull himself out of dark times, he knew how to get other people out of it. And he did it by having can-do questions. He would have can-do questions. We can't do that. He belonged to the Lions Club. We can't do that, Ben. We can't do that. He was a trustee of the church. We can't do that, Ben. That'll take too many people. That'll take too much money. We don't do that kind of thing. This is how we've always done it. And Dad would just go, well, what do you think we can do? And amazing things happened. Schoolyards got built and all kinds of community things happened. He didn't do it alone. All he did was ask the question. And then everybody else started asking a different question, the one that is possibility, the one that brings you joy. And everybody always wondered, how come Ben? They used to call him Benny. His close friends called him Benny. What's really funny about it, his name wasn't Ben at all. His name was Bernard. But he was full of joy. And Bernard didn't fit. Ben or Benny did. So in 1976, 10 days before the bicentennial parade was going to happen, my father came home to my mother and said, I think I'm going to be a clown in the parade 10 days from now. She goes, how are you going to do that? And he goes, I don't know. You can make me a costume, can't you? Yeah, my mother whipped up a costume, and he wore that for years. He amateur clowned until his death in 1991. He had an outlet for sharing joy that let him be bigger than life. But he also did it in the little ways. He showed us that it's possible to live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. And that facts and circumstances that we all have, right? They're always going to be around us. But we have the power to walk down a different street, right? We can do that. We can choose to walk down that different street, and we can do it with a smile on our face. Because as Barbara sang this morning with every little thing, joy is every little thing. Thank you.
That was really great. Thank you so much. One of the things that really brings me joy is being up in the mountains and out in the woods, and I love to hike, and that's That's my go-to is just get outside. Um, so I'm a hike leader and a trail maintainer for Potomac Appalachian Trail Club. And part of what we do is to protect our lands so that they can be there for everyone to enjoy. And so this is a song I wrote about how much I love the outdoors and how much joy it brings me. Winds on the water, sun's on the rise, scattering diamonds by the river's bend. Stand on the mountain, sing to the sky. Never be a day like this again. Shining, shining. Acres of concrete covered with lines got caught in the headlights, had to escape. Follow the moon and the scent of the pine where a black, soft as velvet holds the Milky Way. Shining, shining. The only sound is the wind through the trees. The only place my mind is at ease. Follow thy moon. Oh, okay. It'll come to me. Lay down my head on a pillow of leaves. Now I'm heading back home, and I'm saying a prayer, a gift that's so precious. Got to believe this land can stay sacred for everyone to share. Shining, shining. The only sound is the wind through the trees. The only place my mind is at ease. Lay down my head on a pillow of leaves. Now I'm heading back home, and I'm saying a prayer, a gift that's so precious. Got to believe this land can stay sacred for everyone to share. Shining, shining, shining. Thank you.
Thank you again, Barbara, Ms. Shining. And thank you again, Reverend Janet Langmeier. And now comes the time for us to, we are going to, after we bless our gifts, the ushers will invite you row by row to come forward and place your gift in the basket and receive an affirmation to bless you this week. Even if you give electronically or this is not your Sunday to share, please come forward and add your energy into the basket by placing your hand over it. And we invite our online viewers to check also the description box to donate. And now we can do an offertory blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I am open to receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
I'm okay. I've got friends to talk. I've got a dog to walk. Past and the future, they can't mess me up. 'Cause I've got so much today. When life doesn't follow my wishes or please, people aren't perfect, especially me. Can let myself worry or enjoy what I've got. I'm okay. But do you do bad? But do you do day? But did die a But I do day do day I'm okay. I've got friends to talk. I got a dog to walk. The past and the future, they can't mess me up. 'Cause I've got so much today. When life doesn't follow my wish it would be. And people aren't perfect, especially me. I can let myself worry or enjoy what I've got. I'm okay. I'm okay. Do ya do 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 ba da do ba da ba da ya do ba da ya ba ba do ba da ya be ya ba ba we I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I got friends to talk. I got a dog to walk. The past and the future, no, they can't mess me up. 'Cause I'm okay. I've got joy in my life. Lots of joy in my life. Be a bear, do Thank you.
We just love it. Do we do? Okay. Now we will come together to affirm our abundance. And together, Unity of Roanoke Valley is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources are blessing us. And we accomplish mighty works together. Okay. Now it's the announcement time. And Sunday, August the 27th at 12 will be our Youth Soda Shop fundraiser. And we will have hot dogs and ice cream and sundaes and lemonade, watermelon, and that good old 50s music with the doobie-doo, and a water slide and a wading pool. And we will need some volunteers to help and patrons to sit, cool off, and enjoy. So please sign up in the fellowship hall. Also, join Reverend Betty Tarpley for her new class starting next week on August the 22nd. They will begin reading A Daily Guide to Spiritual Living by Jim Rosemergy. Sign up in the fellowship hall or contact Reverend Betty for more information at 540-353-0941. And the Tuesdays beginning August 22nd is going to be in the gathering room at the Unity of Roanoke Valley from 1 until 3 p.m. on a love offering basis. Also, there's another one, let's see. It says, have you considered serving Unity of Roanoke Valley as a prayer chaplain? The spiritual care team will be having an informational overview meeting on Sunday, September the 24th, after the service at 12:30 in the prayer chapel to answer your questions. This meeting is required for anyone considering attending the training to become a prayer chaplain. The training dates will be held Saturday and Sunday, August the 14th and 15th, and Saturday, October the 21st. And there are also brochures available on the table. Okay, and the Norfolks. A member of the spiritual care team will be there to answer any questions. And also, our board director's representative this week is Cody Branham, who's always serving us back there on the technology department. So reach out with any questions, feedback, or messages for the board. And now it is about that time for the, if you have a child with you that you brought to church today, we invite you to come and meet them in front of the sanctuary. So I think it's time to hit it.
Okay, so today our focus was on creativity, and I have a little stuff to show y'all. So my creativity went a little wild, and it didn't really go the way I planned, but I made it into something beautiful. So always love yourself and your work.
All right, let's give the hands and don't forget to move.
Good morning. Surround.